So I guess if you had Frank Reich getting fired in the middle of the season on your bingo card, congrats, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this first because I got some pent up takes from yesterday. Been kind of stewing on it for the last 24 hours or so. So I'll hand it over to you guys first.
It was unexpected. I don't know if I agree with the move. And in all honesty, this had nothing to do with Chris Ballard. It was all Jim Irsay. Even in the meeting with Jeff Saturday, um, Jim was the only one talking, and all of his analogies and everything he was saying didn't really make sense. Like he was, I know there was one that was like, I don't know how to make a sausage, but I know how to make a football team. And I'm like, what? I didn't understand that one, but whatever. You know what? We're second in the division, and I guess the identity right now is that we're tanking, and it makes absolutely zero sense. Like we're second in the division. Yeah, we're probably not going to win it because we've lost twice to the Titans, but I mean, there's still a chance, and there's still hope.
Yeah. What do you have, Riley?
Um, I mean, I feel like the fans, besides Braden, kind of felt like it needed to be done. Maybe I don't know if Braden thought it needed to be done, but
Okay. Well, I didn't think it needed to be done mid-season, but
I mean, I was looking at a lot of comments made by Colts fans after the loss, and they were just calling for him.
mm-hmm.
But I mean, Taylor's hurt right now. It might be worse than expected, so I think they're just kind of say, hey, let's just do whatever with this season. If it goes right, it goes
Mm-hmm.
right. They're just kind of flipping a coin at this point.
Yeah,
If
we
it
can't stay
goes
healthy.
if it goes bad, then they can just keep Jonathan Taylor on the bench and not. I don't know.
Yeah, don't risk a injury or whatever. I mean, they're already counting the season. The program's already counting the season as a loss anyway. I mean, I
I
think we
mean,
can all agree on that.
if the Jeff Saturday hire is legit, then they can get Taylor back and get into the rhythm of things, and
I don't
it'll.
think it's legit.
I don't
And
either.
I mean,
I
they
don't
even
really
said in the
understand
interview,
it.
like, we're not expecting anything special. We're just expecting them to go out there and do their best. And it's like, okay, what was the point in firing Frank? Why don't you just let him finish out the season?
How long has he been there? Was he there?
2018, I believe.
Yeah, it
After
was
the
like
Super,
5 seasons.
yeah,
Okay.
it was when Luck won comeback player of the year, I believe.
So my take on this whole thing, after thinking about for about a day and a half now. So I feel like personally that Frank Reich's team was sabotaged. Now you can say whatever you want about the team itself, about the play calling, but quite honestly, if you look at like their roster construction on the offensive side of the ball, it just doesn't make much sense. So right now they don't really have like any superstar receivers. Now, Braden, to your point, they basically have turned their identity to tanking,
Mm-hmm.
which, if you look at their receiver core, that would make sense to tank with that kind of receiving core. But that wasn't the plan going into the season, right? I mean, the plan is we got a really good shot at winning the division here. Let's go make it happen. So I think, with Frank Reich being there for 5 or 6 seasons, however long it was, he didn't ever have the same quarterback starting back-to-back seasons. It was always a different guy. And I think a part of this is, the blood is on the hands of Chris Ballard and all the way at the top. And for some reason, Frank Reich had to be the victim of their mistakes. Now, there's feeling out there's people out there who have said that Frank Reich asked for Carson Wentz, and obviously they spent the first round pick on him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I understand that, but getting Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, Jacoby Brissett, I mean, all those guys, they're probably not going to win you the Super Bowl.
Right.
And if I'm Frank Reich and I get fired, and as I'm leaving that training facility, I turn around as I'm about to walk out the door, and I wonder why Chris Ballard isn't following me out of the building, because he was the one that set up this roster, and he didn't get the quarterback. They had their chance. I mean, after Andrew Luck was gone, they went with the Jacoby Brissett thing for a year. That was the perfect time to regroup and go out and get somebody young, somebody that, maybe they could have gotten the draft. But instead, they decided to use their first round pick on DeForest Buckner. Then they go and trade for Phillip Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
So, too bad for Frank Reich. I don't think he got a fair shake at this.
Yeah, I somewhat agree with you. I don't agree with the Chris Ballard statement. He built this team, and surrounded it with superstar players overall, besides the quarterback position. I feel like the whole quarterback carousel thing has been under the helm, besides the Carson Wentz move, has all been under the helm of Irsay. I feel like he's been the one shaking it up, and he's kind of just been like, I want this guy. And I know Wentz blew the season last year. It's a team sport, but I know everyone's blaming Wentz on blowing the season in Jacksonville by not making the playoffs last year. But Reich was trying to keep Wentz in Indy, and I'm all for Wentz. I think he's a good player, but I don't know. I think it's a corrupted. What would it be, like a dictatorship almost type thing, where it's like, okay, I'm the boss. I don't really care. Step aside. I'm gonna take control of this thing.
So at some point, doesn't Irsay go, gee, this isn't really working. Either let's try something else, or I'm just going to get out of the way here. Chris Ballard, do whatever you need to do. But instead, he tries to get in the way then. And this is the part that sucks about ownership in the NFL and really throughout professional sports is the owners think that they know the sport, and in reality, they don't.
Right.
So like you said, Jim Irsay said something about creating the sausage or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know how to make a sausage, but I know how to make a football team.
So why is he the one making the team? I understand, okay,
because he claims
can have some input, but
he claims his history and his background knowledge has more of an advantage in the business just because of how long he's been there. And that's obviously not the case. That's why he's the owner, not the GM. I mean, you could argue it's all in one job, but I mean, you hire a GM for a reason.
Well, can you point to any situation throughout NFL history where the owner has tried to play the role of general manager and it's worked out? I mean, look at Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones tries to run his franchise and also like run the personnel and stuff. And it's like, at some point, dude, you just got to realize you're the business guy here. You don't know nearly as much about the game as you think. So back away, and like you said, you hire a GM for a reason. So let the GM do their job.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. I guess a good example of that would be Belichick in a inverse role as him as the head coach and the GM, but I don't know how it works for New England like that. Maybe you just have the coach be the GM and manage the players, because if you're the coach, you get to interact with the players at practice, see how they progress throughout the years, and see what you need help in, or what new players need to come in and improve your organization.
And if you can't do it on your own, then it's your own fault. I mean,
right.
The scouting perspective and everything, like when it comes to drafting and all that's one thing. Okay, that's why you have scouts. But when it comes to like the overall roster construction, like you said, the coach knows what they need. They know what they want, what they like. And so, yeah, and I feel like that situation works out a lot better. But
Mhm.
then sometimes you get, in this case, the owner who thinks that they know best. And in reality, it's not working out. So I really hope that, they learn from this experience that it didn't work out. And instead of trying to have the owner run things, they should maybe, rely on their head coach to find a quarterback, or, maybe Chris Ballard can find a quarterback. We really don't know. I mean,
Right.
obviously he hasn't tried to draft one yet in like the first 62 or 64 picks. So
It's going to happen this year, or this upcoming draft.
it
It will
almost
happen.
has to now with the way that they've chosen. I mean, they can't go into this next draft and not draft a quarterback. I think that would be really irresponsible. And I don't know, of all people, why is Jeff Saturday the sacrificial lamb here? I mean, I get it. He played for the team and he's got relationships with, the ownership,
Yeah.
obviously, and people around the team. But if so, obviously, this wasn't a Chris Ballard hire. Like, he didn't decide that Jeff Saturday was going to be the guy. If I'm Chris Ballard, I'm looking at it and thinking, okay, so first the quarterback situation, and second, now he's choosing the new coach, somebody that's never coached, not even as high as college. So how can you look at that and think, oh man, this guy actually knows what he's doing? I'd say, you hired me, let me do my thing, or else I'm going to go somewhere else.
It was a very, very impulsive move. I don't know where he's going with this. I don't see any direction where this helps the team at all. Unless Jeff Saturday literally has took Peyton Manning's brain from when he played with him and stuck it into his head, and now he's ready to ignite the full fury of the offense that Peyton Manning used to play in. But I mean, that's in an alternate world and universe where everything's perfect.
I think at this point too, like, they've won too many games to get the first overall pick. So you're still probably going to win another game or two throughout the rest of the year at least.
I don't think we're. I don't think we're gonna. We're probably gonna be right under 500.
And that very well could be the case. It's just super weird why they decided now was going to be the time to take that action. I mean, like you said, they're 3-5-1, so they could rip off a nice little winning streak here and win the division. Now they may not win the division, but they could still go to the playoffs with 8, 9, 10 wins, something like that. But I don't know. I don't like this direction that they decided to take at this point in time. Would have made more sense either before the season or after the season, but I guess we'll see where this process leads them.
This team's a ticking time bomb. We have all the right players in the right positions. We're missing a number one wide receiver. The O line's aging and getting beat up. It was probably the number one or number two offensive line the past 3 seasons, and now it's just probably like number 27 and 32, something like that. It's just, come on, you gotta get it together.
So, I had a question for Braden. They got, it looks to be the 14th pick as of right now. Where do you think the pick will end up, and what do you think they'll do with it?
I'm probably gonna say pick 12 or 11.
What do you think they do?
They're getting a quarterback.
I feel like they almost have to.
Which one do you take at that? Because
you know who I'm taking. I'm not gonna.
I know, but that's like towards the second round though.
Who do you think?
Well, okay. If that's the guy you're aiming for, then I wouldn't even take a quarterback. I'd take a number one wide receiver because we don't even have that. Pierce might be something, but he doesn't have the physical attributes. He can jump up and catch the ball, but Michael Pittman, he is not a number one wide receiver.
I mean, I think back to this offseason, so obviously, they've had cap space to work with at least somewhat, right? I mean,
yeah, they've been pretty consistent in a healthy range of cap space.
The Matt Ryan contract was pretty big, especially on their cap hit, but
Yeah.
they could have gone out there and got at least a somewhat cheap receiver. Like, I would not have rolled into the season with these guys. I mean, Valdez Scantling was out there, Smith Schuster was out there, DJ Chark, somebody like that could have definitely helped.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever reason, they just kind of did like the Packers approach with a worse quarterback and hope that it would work.
Right.
And, you know, they've at least been able to rely on their run game for so long, but they're
It's
not
clogged
the
up
Titans.
now.
Yeah. I
The
mean,
bread and butter's gone.
there's going to be a point in time where, like, you know, the Titans can't run the ball that much anymore. I mean, it's surprising that they've made it this long by taking that approach. But in today's NFL, you can't just run it over and over again and hope that it's going to work.
Right.
At some point, you need to throw the ball, and you need to have people to catch that ball when it's thrown.
I'm just hoping next season they get it all put together, get all the pieces in the right place, and if not, then maybe a new lead in ownership. Honestly, even though that's never gonna happen, he would never sell the team.
I think this franchise is definitely in the wrong direction, and it's going to take a lot to pull it out. I think they're going to be probably third or fourth place team for the next couple of years.
Unless they absolutely nailed a quarterback pick.
Yeah, they're just kind of a boring team for me to watch. Sorry to say that, Braden, but
No, I don't even watch them anymore.
I can't find any enjoyment watching them. It's just super boring to me. And then they were saying Deion Jackson, he had a big game when Taylor was out one of the weeks, and they said he's ready to be that guy, and he averaged 2.1 yards a carry this week.
Oh, yeah, I seen that.
See, that's an issue. If their identity is running the ball and they're getting less than 3-4 yards a carry, okay, that's a major issue. You need to go in a different direction.
Mm-hmm. But if we can't even go in that other direction because we don't have the pieces for that.
Right.
We're all built for power run, straight down the hole. We don't even have a number one receiver. We don't even have a quarterback that, I mean, can't even not turn over the ball. Now, Sam's only played 2 games, and he's thrown 1 pick. But, I don't know. I feel like this whole experiment in Sam Ellinger is just not going to pan out for some reason.
All right, we're going to do who has more. Today's topic is yards. And we're going to go in the direction of Jalen Waddle and Mike Evans. Who has more receiving yards?
So I'm gonna go since Mike Evans is Tom Brady's primary target, and I've seen Tom Brady as top 5 passing leader. I know Jalen Waddle is up there. I don't know if he's up there anymore, but I'm gonna go with Mike Evans on this one.
Yeah, I think Mike Evans sounds like the safe pick here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a massive difference, almost 200 yards. Mike Evans has 617. Jalen Waddle has 812.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I guess the Dolphins are just doing a little slinging it around in the backyard.
What's Tyreek got? Do you know? Is he like, didn't he hit 1,100?
He's got to be knocking on the door of 1,000.
I'm pretty sure he's at 1,100, yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, that is crazy at this point in the season. He's going to break some sort of record, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of pivoting a little bit, I would like to talk about a team that we don't get to talk about very much on this show. And I don't think we talk about them very much just because we are fans of them and we don't want to sound biased. Let's talk about our 7-1 Minnesota Vikings. So, you guys got any takes on it to start off?
I mean, I think it's just like it's a team that gets it done. And they haven't played like too many good teams. They lost to the Eagles. Yeah, but they're a team that gets it done, and a lot of people just throw them out there. Oh, it's the Vikings. They're okay, but everybody had Green Bay above them like past week 3.
I agree. I think they can. They can. They're a team that can get it done. Actually, I think they can beat the Eagles. I don't care what anyone says. I think they can beat the Eagles. It's a hard place to play on prime time in Philly. Yeah, I think they could beat the Eagles, and I know this weekend they didn't win by a very large lead. Against Washington, arguably one of the worst teams in the league, but they were on an away game, and usually you don't play your best on away games. But hey, I'll take a road win any day.
Well, historically speaking, they play to the competition of the opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Historically, next week or this week, they will lose to the Bills. No matter, well, actually, I think they'll lose
If
to the
Josh
Bills
Allen plays
if
or
Josh
not?
Allen plays. If
Okay.
Josh Allen plays, I think they'll lose, but I think it'll only be within like one score. I mean, Green Bay lost by, was it 10 or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of feeling like, so everybody at this point has kind of said, they've gotten lucky. They haven't played anyone. Okay, so make a list for me real quick. Teams that are acceptable to beat in 2022. So a lot of people only think that if you beat the Eagles, the Bills, or the Chiefs, if you beat those
Again
three
with
teams, that's the
again
only
with the
acceptable teams
Eagles,
to beat.
people say the Eagles haven't played anybody. Well, nobody's really played anybody. Everybody
Right.
sucks this year. It's not a lot of
Yeah.
scoring this year.
Yeah, it's like going back to our previous episode. It's kind of like the league is flipped upside down.
Yeah,
The good teams are bad and bad teams are good.
like Connor just said, if you play those top 5 teams, then they'll say you played somebody, but
Not everybody has them on their schedule. I mean,
yeah,
in years past, you can point to basically anybody that's in the playoff picture and consider that a team that, they say you played somebody if you actually win against one of those teams. But, even if they did beat, so they got Dallas and the Giants coming up pretty soon. They got the Jets too. They got teams with winning records on their schedule coming up. So this is really the stretch where we'll get to see what they're made of. But up to this point, I don't have any problem with it. I mean, if you look back last year, they rightly said, they played down to their competition, they played up to it. They would not have won these games the last couple of years. They're winning the games anyway. It doesn't matter how you win it, really. I mean, as long as you get the win in the win column,
Mm-hmm.
you're 7-1. I don't think they're as fraudulent as people think. But, look at Tampa Bay. I mean, they lost to Green Bay. Green Bay's lost to a bunch of bad teams. The Rams lost to Tampa Bay. You can't really look at any of the teams that have been considered elite in the past. I mean, even look at the Bills. They just lost to the Jets on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And the Chiefs almost lost to the Titans. The Eagles got played tightly by the Texans for 3 quarters. So you can't really look at any of these teams and say that one is like way above the other. Now, last couple of weeks, I probably would have said Buffalo, Kansas City, Philadelphia are far away the best teams. But I just don't see any way that any of these teams are like superior to one another necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
if a team gets 7 or 8 wins like the Eagles and Vikings have, you can't deny that they aren't a good team. Like 7 wins, 8 wins, that is hard to get. And you're like,
Right.
oh, they haven't played anybody. Oh, Eagles almost lost to the Texans, but they still won. A good team would have 8 wins. So you can't just deny, you can't write them off that they're not that good because they're only undefeated pretty much.
Braden, your point about you think that they can beat the Eagles, I do too.
I think anyone could be the Eagles. Honestly, I think they've just been on a hot streak because they're the hottest team in the NFC, and I just don't see the Eagles winning the Super Bowl or even getting to the. Yeah, I don't see them getting to the. No, maybe they get to the championship. I don't know. I don't see them winning the Super Bowl.
I think this Eagles team kind of smells like the 2020 Pittsburgh Steelers a little bit. And after that Week 2 loss against the
they
Eagles,
just went downhill.
Yeah, I kind of been thinking since the Week 2 loss to Philadelphia. I've been thinking we're gonna see them again, and it'll be in the championship probably. So my take is, I want them to play the Eagles in the championship, and I really hope that they do, because then I think that they can actually beat them. I've been really high on the Eagles coming into the season and everything. I thought that they've done a really good job with what they've been given in terms of like their roster construction and everything. But I think they're a beatable team. And, there's going to be a point in time where Jalen Hurts cracks, because I think he's literally 2015 Cam Newton.
Mm-hmm.
And 2015 Cam Newton was broken by the Denver Broncos pass rush. So there's going to be somebody out there who can break him. And when they do, everybody's going to use it as a blueprint.
Most definitely. Time's ticking. It's going to happen at some point one of these weeks.
Who's your guys' pick for NFC Championship then?
I'll take Vikings and Eagles. I think it's got to be those two.
I'll have to think about it more. But
I think the Vikings get there. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think the Vikings get there. I kind of like the Seahawks. I don't know if the seeding would match up, but Seahawks, maybe the Bucks get hot. I don't know. We'll see.
The Seahawks are pesky.
Yeah.
They're going to be hard.
I think the Seahawks find a way in there, not going to lie. I can't make an actual prediction, but I think the Seahawks have a very strong possibility of making their way in there.
Go
I
ahead.
just want to add one more thing. What'd you guys think about Hawkinson?
He was amazing.
Yeah, that was awesome. Oh, just the midfield routes, wide open. That was awesome to see.
That's kind of what half the stuff Andrews and Kelsey do. They just make the middle of if you get them in the middle of the field, they can open up the rest of the offense, and that's what happened. I was a little scared at first because KOC in LA, they didn't really utilize the tight end. This year, they didn't really utilize Irv Smith that much. I was a little scared. I love what I saw, though.
It's awesome.
I think it was a home run move. I don't think they could have traded for anybody else that would have made a greater impact than TJ Hawkinson.
Definitely.
So, since you asked about the NFC Championship, who do you have going to the AFC Championship? Do you still have Bills and Chiefs? Well, I think that's kind of been consensus pick up to this point.
Yeah, it has. Unless the Bills somehow get knocked out, which I could see happening.
I could see the Bills get knocked. I think the Chiefs will still go to the Super Bowl. My pick was Chiefs-Bucks. I don't really see the Bucks making it. We'll see, though.
I'm not just saying this because the Jets just beat the Bills, but I could see the Jets making a run for the championship.
I kind of want to say that too, honestly. But
how's Zach Wilson been?
Not great, but he's hung in there.
He's doing enough to get him to win the game. I know the defense is insane. All right,
Sauce Gardner, man.
We can already say Sauce Gardner's Rookie of the Year. I think we can all say that.
Seahawks fans rather make the argument that Woolen should be, but I think the only stat Woolen leads is interceptions on Gardner.
Well, he's getting that's the thing is Woolen's getting the stat. Gardner's not, but the thing is he's making more plays. I mean, you can't get stats if nobody throws the ball to the receiver that you're covering because you're covering them so well. So, yeah, I mean, I think I think Sauce Gardner's the runaway for it. And
Mhm.
if he doesn't win it, it's rigged. Can I
Yeah.
say something bold here?
Go ahead.
But
Okay, this just kind of hit me. So, the kind of the thought about Josh Allen is that it's a UCL issue in his elbow. So if it ends up being like where it's a torn UCL, that means that he'll probably need surgery and he'll be done for the year. I think regardless of whether he's done for the year or not, I think, Riley, your New York Jets are going to make a push here. So I'm going to say the AFC Championship is going to be the New York Jets and the Kansas City Chiefs.
I love it.
And
You saw that guy who did the coin flip. He's gotten everything right, and the final thing was they lose the AFC Championship.
I actually think that they got a case to win it. I think the Super Bowl, this is going to be my pick for the Super Bowl halfway through the season. I'm going to say Jets and Vikings.
Sounds
Oh,
like a
wow.
fun matchup.
Wow.
That would be wild.
If that was the matchup, oh my gosh,
That would be insane.
I would
That would
love
actually be
that.
pretty even too.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not the Jets offensively, but
Hey, we'll get a preview in a few weeks.
That's true. So here's the thing about the Jets that I like how they would match up against Kansas City. The Jets have been able to win pass rush with bringing only 4 guys, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think they've had to do a bunch of crazy blitzes. Well, the thing is with Patrick Mahomes, if you sit and play coverage and only rush 3 or 4 against him, teams are usually pretty successful. So if the Jets are able to do that against the Chiefs, I think there's a very good shot that you could see the Jets and the Chiefs in the AFC Championship and the Jets winning that game.
Man,
Yeah.
I just wish Brees Hall wouldn't have got injured, man. This team would have been crazy if he didn't get injured.
but
That really sucks.
yeah, it's unfortunate. James Robinson filled the hole pretty good though.
Yeah.
After that one game.
They probably would have had the offensive and defensive rookie of the year on their team then. I think Kenneth Walker's probably going to get it now, but next year will be even more crazy.
I think Kenneth has the offensive rookie of the year no matter what.
I think it would definitely be close if Brees played the entire year, but I guess we'll never know. But still, it's a tough loss for the Jets, and they've been able to make up for it so far.
Do you think the Jets are actually, like, the program actually thinks that they can have a shot at this? Especially after the Josh Allen thing?
Definitely.
Yes, so
because like why else would you trade for James Robinson right away?
Yeah, I mean, at that time, it didn't really make sense. It was kind of like, oh, well, we'll just go with the next man up. Instead, they're like, no. We're going to try to actually trade for somebody who's, an established player.
Right.
But, yeah, I think that they maybe forecasted this coming, that they were going to still be trucking along at this point. They're half a game out of the division lead.
They're kind of like last year's Bengals. I mean, second-year quarterback had an injury last year.
What are the Patriots' record right now?
5-4.
4-5, 5-4.
5-4.
That hold is over 500. I said it once. I say it again. They're better. That's the best division in football. They're better than the NFC East.
Oh, no doubt about it. If Josh Allen's out for the season, you think the Pats can sneak into the Super Bowl? Or not the Super Bowl, I'm sorry, playoffs?
Yeah.
Potentially.
I don't think they'll take the Bills' spot, but
really?
The thing is, I think the Bills are still a playoff team. They're without Josh Allen, they're probably still a 10-11 win team, in my opinion.
Who's going to play quarterback though? Case Keenum?
Yeah.
I don't know how well he'll do over a long stretch, because we all have seen now that whole thing where he came into the Vikings QB1 for an entire season. We've all seen that was just kind of a myth. Wasn't ever going to be sustainable.
Diggs.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Stephon Diggs makes every quarterback look way better than they actually are. So,
if Stephon Diggs and Case Keenum went up against the Vikings,
oh gosh, That would be the best matchup. Oh my gosh. Case Keenum, Stephon Diggs against Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
I actually think there's a valid case that the Jets are a better team than the Bills right now.
Definitely. Oh, that's no.
I mean, their
no discussion
defense
about
appears
that.
to be better overall, but I'm curious to see how the rest of the season plays out. I thought maybe the Jets would get into the playoffs as a wild card team
Mm-hmm.
and, maybe win a playoff game and then get beat in the divisional round. I think they're going to maybe win the division. I don't think they'll get the number 1 seed, but they might get the 2 or the 3. And I'm excited
it's
to see
just
what's next
crazy.
for them. Yeah, I mean, coming into the season, you and I said that we thought that the Jets were going to be a good team. You saw them more as a potential division winner. I thought they were maybe going to win 7, 8 games. I didn't think that they were going to be that improved to the point where they'd make it into the playoffs. But for them to be, half a game out of the division lead right now, that's just unreal.
I just want to keep talking about the Jets, man. I love it.
Yeah,
That's
I like
fine,
talking about the Jets. It's fun.
They're a fun team to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, Zach. Okay. Do you think they take a QB? As ridiculous as that sounds, do you think the Jets draft a quarterback in the draft?
I don't think
No.
so.
Any
I
draft?
think,
No shot.
Any round?
No.
well, maybe they'll try to get a backup to replace Joe Flacco, but I don't think they're gonna
No shot.
try to find. I don't think they're gonna take a quarterback to replace Zach
I
Wilson.
haven't been watching Zach. I know they've been winning. I don't really know how he's been playing.
They've been winning by
You
running
guys
the
did
ball.
claim that he wasn't playing very well.
Yeah,
I
I mean
think he's not like playing bad, but he's not wowing people.
he's not the driving force. He's just kind of a passenger.
I mean, he didn't even start the season, so I guess give him some
He
give him a
didn't
little bit of
start,
time.
but he didn't start, but when he came back, they started going off.
Mm-hmm.
I think Joe Flacco is a little too gunslingerish for him, for the Jets, that is. I think Zach Wilson's like a really good game manager at this point in his career. And, he can, as he goes on, he can be more the gunslinger type because that's why he was drafted.
Mm-hmm.
They said he had Patrick Mahomes' arm talent. But, yeah, I think the Jets are going to be a good team down the stretch here. I'm excited to see where they end up.
I want to give you guys a little bonus. Who has more? We're going to go rushing yards. Lamar Jackson and Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon just had an insane game.
Yeah. Did he have 150 rushing yards?
I think Joe Mixon has more up to this point.
No, I'm gonna take Lamar.
Joe Mixon has 585 yards and Lamar has 635.
See, last time I saw Lamar's rushing totals, he was still in the 400s. I don't remember how long ago that was, though.
Is Lamar top 5?
I know.
I know he was last week.
He's top 8.
Okay.
It's not bad. All right. Well, that's probably it from us for now. So we'll see you guys next time. Go ahead and check us out on the streaming services if you like, where you can find us. Anywhere you can find your podcast, really. Like, subscribe, share, comment. See you later.